The following is a presentation of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Student-led, student-centered, student-serving.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans, and alongside with me is Zoe Wittler. Tonight is another good matchup. The 8-5 boys basketball team, the Legacy Lightning, up against your Frederick Golden Eagles, who are sitting at 7-6. So both of these teams pretty evenly matched whenever you compare the two records as this clock winds down. And we will do our national anthem here. And after that, let's take a look at your boys basketball last game that they played. We had the honor of broadcasting that one. The Meade specialty game. The rivalry game's always fun. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out quite the way that Frederick wanted. They lost 69-59. So it was a 10-point deficit, and it sort of remained that way throughout the game. So it really is just going to come down to, can they keep that lead?
Junior number 20, Sonny Del Pitts. Junior number 21, Chris Garcia. Junior number 24, Sandra Levins. The big fella, he's a senior, Joe Bond, Aldana. The junior, number 32, Parker Freeman. Freshman number 35, Caleb Wittler. And junior number 45, Ben Rondo. And now, the starting lineup for your Golden Eagles. Garcia. Number 1 Eagles are led by head coach Jeff Conley and assisted by Ish Aldana, accompanied by Frederick High, Louis Sue, and Jeff Curtis. Tonight's game is initiated by Kevin, John, and Dan. Let's go, Eagles!
Welcome in, everybody, to the Golden Eagles Broadcast Network. I'm Zoe Wittler alongside Carly Evans, and you are getting ready to watch Frederick against Legacy. Tonight's matchup is looking like it's going to be tight. Some keys for the game are, number 1, attack the world. Legacy tends to overhelp, and so attacking the world will create a bunch of shots. That being said, they have to remain patient. Frederick, that is, has to remain patient on offense, playing fundamental defense. All the little things Legacy does right. They're very fundamentally sound. And finally, last but not least, you have to keep in mind that Legacy's record on the road is 4-1, better than their one at home. So Frederick's just got to keep that in mind, despite that they're away, right? And usually the energy is, in favor of the home team. Legacy plays better away.
Which is kind of terrifying whenever you think about it, right? You think of most teams, they play better at home in their own environment. Legacy is pretty much the complete opposite.
And it kind of I can see it in a lot of ways, because when you're away, the energy is against you. Everything's in favor of the home team. And so it kind of gives you a little bit of that chip on the shoulder to be like, all right, let's see, let's show them who we are.
First push, first feet foul. Out of bounds, lane.
As Legacy now moving swiftly. Pootkamer. There's some fun names on here. Ward. Now Johnson. Johnson tries to get it to Harpring. Just bounces off the fingertips of Harpring. That's a pretty tall guy. Harpring's pretty tall. What would you say he stands at? Probably like 6.
From up here, he looks 6'3", 6'4"-ish.
He's got the body, too. That's a hard thing to fill out. As Lechuga, our one and only broadcaster, sometimes joins us. Lechuga taking it, driving down the middle, and somehow keeps it in bounds himself. Unfortunately, though, gives it straight to Legacy. But that'll be Johnson, who tripped up on his own feet, and looks like he almost face planted, or it might have been.
His leg kind of gave out.
Yeah,
there,
his leg kind of gave out.
bounds.
He was a little disgruntled with that. Looks like he's aching a little bit. Kind of don't blame him. That was an awkward fall. As you phrased it, his legs just kind of gave out. It wasn't really a slip. It was more of like they just stopped functioning on him. Justice trying to maneuver around Johnson. Johnson tripping up again. Justice taking the shot himself. Little off the mark. Garcia back to Justice. Justice isn't able to pull it off completely. And that'll be Legacy who snags the rebound. And that'll be Allshouse driving. And they do get the call. Rightfully so. I feel like that one was more of an obvious call.
And it was a good set. Garcia got there early, planted his feet, didn't move, able to get that charge. A pretty, like you said, pretty easy call for the refs.
And just wasn't able to keep it in bounds. Burton tried his best.
And Frederick runs out of, it's like a purposely driving out of bounds play to get the defense to shift all the way to the other side of the corner and leave your opposite, so in this case it was the left corner, wide open. The only trouble is you're going out of bounds, and so if the pass isn't there, or in that case it got deflected, you're not able to grab it and still be in bounds. It's tricky. It's a risky play, but high risk comes with high reward.
Exactly. As Allshouse will bring it back in. Burton covering him. Burton sort of getting lost in traffic. It'll be Johnson. Johnson back to Allshouse. And looked like that was Harpring who might have tipped it right out of bounds. I thought Garcia might have gotten a hand on it, so it could have swung either way. Lechuga finds Garcia in the corner all by himself. Garcia dumps it underneath to Justice. Justice, once again, not right on the money, just a little off. Either it's a little too far or a little too far to the side.
But the good takes, they're knowing that Legacy's jumping at
Agreed.
the immediate shot, so they're giving a nice shot fake, taking a dribble or two, and if the shot's not there, kicking it and doing the same thing. And while those shots aren't falling right now, they will.
Exactly. I mean, this is a lot better patience-wise than we saw last game, I think. Last game, there were a lot of shots. I mean, for those of you who were watching last game, whenever we even interviewed Dante at the end of the game, you know, he was kind of like, I took a shot that I probably shouldn't have taken, right? Like these risky ones. So curious to see what Lechuga can do here. Lechuga trying to take it himself, finds Garcia, dumps it underneath. Garcia able to capitalize. 2-2 now. Your Golden Eagles able to ebb away at that minimal lead. And it'll be Allshouse who jumps up for it. And Martin snags it, finds Burton. Burton all alone. And he's able to do something with it too. 4-2, your Golden Eagles now leading. Allshouse. Frederick playing kind of shallow defense as they find Pootkamer. Allshouse back to Ward. Back in the corner. That'll be Johnson. One who slipped up a few times earlier. Martin back over the head. Would have been cool if he did something with that.
Both shots on either end of the floor are not falling for, you know, any of the teams. And so both of them are going to have to rely on Legacy and Frederick is the nice, easy one-footers.
I was about to say, it's still early on, so shots maybe, you know, you have to get into that rhythm, it feels like. And right now they're just kind of out of it, both teams, trying to get adjusted as Ward finds Allshouse. Allshouse finds Johnson. Johnson searching, finds Ward. Ward dumps it back underneath Allshouse again. Allshouse finds Ward once again. Ward trying to clear some space, driving to the middle, and the basket denies him. So this streak of flops is just continuing. Ward able to jump the route, though.
In this moment, as players, you just got to keep shooting. You know, it feels like there might be a lid on the basket, but you just got to keep shooting, keep going for the layups, stuff like that, because it's going to fall. You know, and you might as well take the shots than not at all, because at least you're going to have an opportunity, right, for it to go in.
Exactly. Garcia finds Burton in the corner. Burton, once again, shy of the mark as Allshouse was passed to for Pootkamer. Looks like substitute for Dunn now. As this will be Legacy bringing it back in. Allshouse barely able to give it back to Yaboya. I might have butchered that, but we'll just call him OY. A little bit easier. As that'll be Pootkamer. Pootkamer sinks it. It was a nasty shot. One of the only ones that's fallen this first quarter. Now Frederick trailing by 4. Obviously, don't worry. Hopefully Frederick's shots will start to fall for them.
Then they just got to keep the confidence of shooting, which we've seen them before. They don't have a
Yes.
problem. All of them have the confidence to shoot it. They also got to make the little bunnies, the easy shots. And, of course, no one's purposely missing them.
No.
Right? But those are the ones that are just crucial that you have to be able to convert on, because that's the ones that, you know, are technically easy. You know?
Technically, yes. I was about to say, you don't always have to go for the big flashy, like, 3-point buckets.
Yeah, and
Even though a lot of them do like to go for that.
Yeah, and the reason I, say technically is because we talked, a couple games ago about sometimes the wide open shots are the toughest ones, because in the back of your mind you're like, oh crap, right? But you have to be able to, as a basketball player, put that in the back of your mind and finish.
Exactly. Clapp. Now in. Clapp. Driving. Interesting shot. As Pootgamer was able to just snag it right out of the air and gives it to Allshouse. So Clapp's pass intended for Frederick. Jumped straight into the arms of Legacy. As that'll be Ward. Burton able to grab the rebound. Burton moving, driving, trying to maneuver two of them. Gebs stepped out just barely, tried to keep it in, tiptoed along that side. Man, what an effort that would have been.
What I see for Frederick is they need to just slow the pace down a lot.
Yes.
You know, they like to push, they like to go, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it's not that they can't do it now, but the last couple possessions they've had, they're trying to do too much. They're trying to be a little fancier. They're going a little too fast. Slow it down a second. It's okay to kind of collect each other and be like, all right, hold on. You know, it's okay to like to be fast, but we actually got to make sure that we're collected as well. So
Not everyone can be a Zoe Wittler.
Well, they gotta value the possession too. You know, every team, that's something that their coaches have them work on.
Not all of us can drop, what, 9 threes in a game?
It was 9.
She's like, yeah, technically it was. As now that'll extend Legacy's lead. The Lightning's now leading by 6. And finally, shots are falling for Frederick. Justice with the 3. And this now makes this a 3-point difference. 30 seconds and counting in this first quarter. As it'll be Allshouse driving. Garcia wasn't able to do much to prevent him from scoring. So this lead change now back to 5. Another substitute looks like Kirchevelin.
Good read by Dante there. He drove in, collapsed the defense, and then stopped and looked for the open shooter, in that case Garcia, and that's exactly what you need.
Ward got some pretty decent separation. Thankfully, the shot didn't land like how he wanted it to, and this difference is still a mere 5. Not swaying in Frederick's direction as of right now. It's been low scoring early on. I mean, both of them, I think, have not necessarily been playing sloppy, but there's been a few moments where shots just didn't do what they really wanted it to. I mean, it pretty much skidded out of the basket a few times, as we saw.
Yeah, there for a while for both teams. No one could get anything to fall, no matter how far, how close it was to the basket. But, you know, both teams keep grinding and, you know, pushing and attacking. And so, you know, right now it's working in Legacy's favor, and they just need to keep doing, you know, exactly what they're doing. Attacking, looking for the shooter, looking for the kick out, you know, or if Frederick's slow to bring help side, taking it up.
So obviously, as of right now, nothing necessarily has to change except, you know, you mentioned slowing things down, right? Focusing more on the moment and completing the passes before you focus on, let's shoot the basket, right? Like,
well, and there's, you know, kind of a point which really, a lot of times it ends up being up to the point guard to discern when that is. But you want to transition a lot. That's how you get a lot of points, and that's what Frederick thrives off of. As we saw Burton earlier, he saw Martin get the rebound, and he just, you know, cut immediately to the basket. Martin was able to, you know, chuck it right over the defender's head for a layup. And so, you know, that type of offense is good. But when you have, you know, Frederick can't convert, then it's back to Lexi, and you're just running and running and running back and forth, you got to kind of decide, okay, is this a time when I need to slow down and go, okay, collect ourselves, let's, you know, let's have a change to the pace here, you know, because there is a difference to both and a time for both.
so just recognizing the moment in what is appropriate as Garcia grabs the rebound. Garcia finds Burton. Burton was going to take the shot, finds Justice. Justice has the better shot, and Justice will complete it. Justice with the 3, making this a 2-point difference in this game. Lechuga dumps it back underneath the Justice. who tries to go back-to-back with scores. But Legacy practically sniffing that out, batted it away before anything could churn for Frederick, as Garcia read that one too. Rather perfectly. Garcia trying to do it again. As Dunn tried to take the shot. That'll be Pootkamer who snags it back. Allshouse. Justice. His name's already been prominent in this game so far. What else can he do? As Lechuga, not sure how he got that off.
Legacy doing a good job right now controlling the boards, able to get themselves extra possessions here to maintain their lead 10-12.
Both teams still struggling with some of those longer distance shots. We've seen them kind of struggle to make these threes fall. But it's both. It's both Frederick and Legacy. I wouldn't say there's one that's doing more solid than the other whenever it comes to some of these shots.
But I think this is a really fun matchup because Frederick is better skilled, but Legacy does everything right, pretty much. I mean, okay, you can't be 100% correct, you're going to make mistakes.
Exactly.
But they're very fundamentally sound.
Yes.
And that can give any skilled team, no matter how talented they are, a run for their money.
And you mentioned, kind of going back to, the fundamentals, right, and talking about, trying to get your layups to land, and you want to get some of these just smaller shots. If you can't get that, how in the world are you going to shoot a three and expect to make it?
Exactly. And, if I was going to criticize something that Frederick's done these last few possessions, it'd be they're attacking to the paint, but too far. And that sounds weird, but the last couple of times, whoever's gone to, up right about to that block area has had 2 or 3 defenders on them and is trying to do this little floaty type finish, throw up kind of a thing. What would be better for them is to, either look for a kick out shot or pull up about at one of the hashes for an easy jumper.
So Garcia, I think he heard you. He was like, maybe I should do something about that, as now this lead going to bump back down for Legacy. Frederick inching closer. About 4 minutes and 45 seconds. As that'll be Golden Eagles basketball. Once again, the rowdy crowd going absolutely ballistic. Saying, how in the world can you mess that up? Lechuga back with it. Lechuga getting double team, finds Garcia. Garcia, Justice, back to Lechuga. Lechuga takes the shot himself and can't complete it. That'll be Ward who comes back down with it. And Lechuga, I don't know how in the world he kept that in, but Burton, nobody over there. It was green grass essentially,
that was
or yellow court.
Hustle. That was a beautiful hustle from the whole Frederick defense. The trap up top, the rotation, and then it led to rotation by Dante, able to get that steal and then a pass back to Burton for the layup.
As we're going to go down to the sideline now with Joey. Joey.
Thanks, Carly. As I'm hearing a couple conversations across the court, I'm starting to hear some doubts in today's game. Maybe a challenge in this game. We're starting to see, a little bit of Legacy having good defense. We'll see how this plays out, but so far a pretty electric game. Back to you, Carly.
Thank you so much for that hit, Joey, as 4 minutes, a little over 4 minutes left in this first half. All knotted up, 14-14. As Frederick, I think, starting to kind of clamp down on defense. As Justice thanks to Burton. Was able to snag the ball. I mean, they were relentless. I'll give them that. They were swatting until that thing popped loose. As Burton will go to the line.
Legacy got to look for a pass fake or a bounce pass or anything because, you know, anything to throw the Frederick's defense off, because right now Frederick's being super aggressive and it's working well for them. In order to counter that, you have to, you know, get them to bite at something. So maybe it's that pass fake, get them to jump and then go, you know, pass the other way. Maybe it's, you know, a bounce pass, whatever. You just got to, you know, try and find something to counter it.
I like that shark bait analogy. It's giving very like Finding Nemo shark bait ooh-ha-ah vibes. You know what I'm feeling?
Get them like, you know, take the bait.
Exactly.
Basically.
As Garcia, mid-route, smacks it. What were you saying?
As funny as it is, it's, you know, pretty much right. You're just trying to bait them. And,
exactly.
You know, Michael Jordan has a famous quote that's, you know, defense is always wrong, I'm always right. And I would argue that you got to think that mindset whatever side of the ball you're on. If you're on offense, you're like, defense is wrong, I'm always right. If you're on defense, you're like, I'm going to tell offense to do exactly what I want them to do, and I'm better. You know, so you just got to kind of have that mindset.
As Dante LeChuga swooping the three-pointer. What an honor that's got to be for his dad to call that, too. As Legacy trying to capitalize, as Hartbring took the shot. Scuffle for the ball. And with the jump ball, Legacy will come out on top. Frederick now starting to gain a little bit of momentum. We're starting to see kind of a swing here. Obviously, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx anything. That's a tendency that I have. Ward underneath the basket. I jinxed it.
Well, that was just beautiful. You know, that was just good ball from both sides. Frederick, you know, brought good pressure. The rotations were right there. LeChuga was right there. But Legacy, you know, just remaining patient even with the pressure, looking to find the open shot. Just good. You know, that's just one of those shots you just have to kind of nod and be like, that was a good finish. And then next play.
As Frederick still leading by 3. I mean, this game already has been very back and forth. We saw that in the Meade game. But towards, I think, the second half, they started to struggle a little bit more with finishing things. So hopefully they stay consistent this game.
I almost saw the problem in the Meade game was that towards the end, when things started to not go their way, they kind of tried to do it themselves, play a little hero ball. And that's, don't get me wrong, when you make that shot, that feels good. You know, that feels, everyone's, you know, praising you. But in that moment, you have to be able to go, okay, not that I affect you, let's work to find the best shot. And so far, Frederick's been doing that. They were, you know, down a couple points here, but you kept their composure, came out with this aggressive defense, and now have the lead by 3.
Hits the nasty spin move, Hartbring. I don't think I've ever seen a big man quite like that move that fast. I mean, that was just like springboard excellence as LeChuga almost misses the pass that Justice handed to him. Garcia trying to push off Hartbring, and LeChuga trying to make another shot fall. We saw him earlier do it, so not unrealistic as that'll be done. Allshouse who finishes it off. He's a scrappy player, I have noticed that.
And that was a smart read there. He saw that LeChuga's back was turned against whatever, had his back to him. I lost the word. I was like, I had the word and I lost it.
Words are hard. Words are hard sometimes.
But he saw his back was to him, took it to the hole, and takes the lead.
Leaps and bounds as Garcia will be sent to the line. Garcia making this another tied game. 2020. Bad memories from that year.
You know, I think 2020 is so funny to me because I was homeschooled. at the time. So like everything like school-wise was like normal. You know, everyone's like, oh, like we had to learn online. And
You're like, this is just an everyday thing
I was
for
like,
me.
for me, it was like the exact same. So my siblings are home every day. I was like, hey, buddies.
You're like, what's up?
like, let's go play something. Let's go do something, you know?
See,
But I
that's
definitely don't.
that's a good outlook on it.
Yeah, but I definitely don't discount, you know, the like hardships and, you know, not being in high school and understanding where my brother was coming from. You know, you miss out on school events and seeing your friends every day and stuff like that. Oh, I definitely understand it. But, you know, it was funny in the moment, you know, people being like, I never learned online or, you know, WebEx or whatever it was. I couldn't teach myself. And, like, I had to learn those skills. I was homeschooled, you know, from first grade through 7th. And so it was just like same old to me.
Yeah, you're like, nothing changed.
Nothing
It's about the
changed, yeah.
same as Legacy. That was a nasty miss. Burton. Now Lechuga. Almost getting swatted by Allshouse. Once again, that scrappiness really setting in. Garcia dumps it back underneath to Davis. Davis to Burton. Burton. Shot doesn't fall. As OY was able to snag the rebound.
That was a good one more. Garcia in the corner had the defender closing out hard, hit Burton on that wing. Good shot, good take.
Allshouse. Once again, motioning for Ward to move across the court as he finds Dunn. Dunn going to finish it off himself. As, oh, so close, Logan Kebs. What a shot that would have been to make it right before half. I mean, we saw that insane shot. But I mean, the buzzer beat the shot. The shot didn't beat the buzzer last time. I think it was the Meade game. Was it the Meade game?
Was it Garcia? Or
I
was
don't
it
know.
Kebs? No.
Or was it Meade?
You know, I can't remember, but I know he had one.
I
know
know,
what you're talking about.
I
It's
remember
ringing a bell.
that.
I just can't place my finger on the game.
All I remember is I was like, oh man, if only that buzzer hadn't gone off.
Oh, it was at Meade. You're talking about the Meade kid?
Yes.
That was behind half court.
It was an insane
he had
shot.
like a hook shot, hook
Yes.
toss. Unfortunately for him, the buzzer went off
My
first.
goodness, the whole rowdy crowd stood up. I mean, the energy just switched.
Even like regardless that it didn't count, everyone in the gym was just kind of stunned. They were like, "Oh my goodness, like that's crazy."
I think even you and me were up here like, oh, okay. They did not come to play. They came to they didn't come to mess around. They came to play. I'm telling you, words are difficult. Words are difficult. As here in a minute, we're going to go down to the sideline, grab an interview with Coach Conway.
You know, something I love about all the coaches down there is that each of them have an insight. I was watching them at one of the games recently that we weren't broadcasting it, and they just all respected each other and were able to be like, hey, you know, here's what I'm seeing, here's what I'm seeing, and they weren't getting mad about like I'm the head coach or whatever. It was just like they were all taking each other's knowledge, and I thought that was really cool.
Exactly. There was just a sense of respect amongst them, realizing each of their assets. As we're going to go down to the sideline now with Joey and Coach Conway. Joey.
Thank you, Carly. I'm here with Coach Conway. Are you starting to see any trends that maybe we should reverse in the second half?
Well, we got to do a better job defensively. They're getting some straight line drives right to the basket, so we got to get those cut off and chest to chest and make them take tougher shots for sure.
And what are you planning to tell the team as we head into halftime?
Keep the pace up. I think we're going to wear them out eventually. They played last night, so I think they're a little bit tired. If we just keep the pace, I think by the end of the game, hopefully we'll wear them down.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to you, Carly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joey, for the hit. As we are going to be right back here on the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network.
Do you want a reliable realtor who you can trust with your money and owning or renting a home? Then you can turn to Zadell Realty, and specifically Greg Zadell. Greg is a local realtor who helps people buy and sell both homes and investment properties. He has an extended knowledge of the market and is extremely involved in the community. Along with being a local realtor right here in Frederick, Greg Zidell is extremely experienced in his profession. Not only is he a broker, but also the owner of Zidell Realty, located in the Carbon Valley area since 1980, just over 42 years as of now. Make sure to watch for the Zidell Real Estate article in the Consumer Report. You don't want to miss it. You won't regret it when you rely on Zidell Realty.
Like most backseat drivers, I'm all about safety. Uh-oh! Les Schwab tires is too, because Les Schwab fixes brakes, steering, and more. See those guys? They just do tires. Eyes ahead, Dad! Look, I'm not telling people how to do their job. Blinker, I'm just glad Les Schwab puts my safety first. Watch, they're gonna come greet me.
Les Schwab Tires, celebrating 70 years of doing the right thing.
Hey, I'm Jake Marsing, social studies teacher and advisor of the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network, and you're watching GEBN. Go Golden Eagles!
Hey, Kyle Michael here with Michael Real Estate and Remax Momentum, and I'm here at my office in downtown Frederick, Colorado. As a Colorado native and a resident to Frederick over the last 8 years, we truly understand the entire Carbon Valley and Colorado market. With offices in Frederick, Brighton, and Westminster, I cover the entire Front Range area. I've served over 130 families from Alt to Monument to Deer Trail to Grand Lake. As a small business owner myself, I understand how much time and effort it takes to be successful, which is why I continue to support local businesses, schools, and nonprofits through our Sip and Support series, coat drives, and other events. I value hardworking individuals. It is my mission to continue giving back as much as I can. We would love to serve you or your family. Give us a call, 303-944-4191, and go Golden Eagles.
Do you want a reliable realtor who you can trust with your money and owning or renting a home? Then you can turn to Zidell Realty and specifically Greg Zidell. Greg is a local realtor who helps people buy and sell both homes and investment properties. He has an extended knowledge of the market and is extremely involved in the community. Along with being a local realtor right here in Frederick, Greg Zidell is extremely experienced in his profession. Not only is he a broker, but also the owner of Zidell Realty, located in the Carbon Valley area since 1980, just over 42 years as of now. Make sure to watch for the Zidell Real Estate article in the Consumer Report. You don't want to miss it. You won't regret it when you rely on Zidell Realty.
Rocky students exist to build up the next generation, to live a life of purpose, influence, and faith. You see, we believe that when you discover purpose, you start to discover you have a reason to live. And when you discover you have a reason to live, you start to notice you have influence. And when you lean into that influence, you make an impact. This world needs people like you the next generation to discover your purpose and to decide today the leader you want to be tomorrow.
In Frederick, we believe in rolling up our sleeves, not just for ourselves, but for each other. We believe in playing outside until the stars flicker on and protecting the hallowed ground of childhood. We believe in a lifelong commitment to actions as good as our intentions. We believe in the power of our voices and the obligation of our hearts to form a strong foundation. We believe we are onto something that's worth all we can give it. Here, the life we dream of is ours to create.
I think the future is bright for Frederick. I think we understand our identity and who we are, and we don't want to lose that.
The town is really built on the community of people and how everyone almost treats people like family.
I see an opportunity to have a seat at the table and to show our worth and our value and our undeniable characteristics of being a lovely community that's welcome to all.
Hi, I'm Coach Matt Lloyd. I'm the head football coach at Frederick High School. You're watching the Golden Eagle Broadcasting Network. Golden Eagles, let them fly.
Welcome back in, everybody, to the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. My name is Carly Evans. Alongside with me is the one, the only 9-3 in a game, school record breaking Zoe Wittler.
What's up?
Very casual, very demure entry. I liked it. I mean, this game has been extremely close. I mean, I would argue it's like there were moments where it was so quiet just between the two rowdy crowds. You could hear a pin drop because it was just so like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. No one could even cheer because it was like, does my team have the ball?
And just everyone's like on the edge of their seat, you know.
Yes,
it's intense.
exactly.
Score, you know, Frederick scores, Legacy scores, and they're just kind of like, what's happening?
A lot of back and forth. As this second half is starting once again. Justice finds Garcia wide open. Garcia tries to swish it underneath. Doesn't quite pay off as Ward now will have possession. Ward tries to get it to Pootkamer. Pootkamer to All's house. As Justice pulls a fake and it pulls off. Pulls and pays off. As now Frederick leading by 1. I think the biggest lead between these two has probably been 6 or 7 points throughout this entire game. So it has been very tightly knit as Justice takes the shot himself and will extend this lead.
One reason that we, have a whole schedule change this year is to try and just, mix up competition. It can get a little boring, playing the same teams every time. Not to be said, of course, people graduate and whatever, so teams are different. But, just to kind of mix it up, but also to, Frederick really wanted to give ourselves a tough schedule this year. And so we went from a 4A, 5A league to a 5A, 6A league. So that means that a handful of teams are playing are, ranked higher than us. But because of that, we are only going to get better. If you win, it helps your RPI a lot, so it helps with your standings for playoffs. But it also exposes your weaknesses. So when you play tough teams, you get a hard loss, it just really helps to poke out, hey, here's what we need to work on in practice. And it's tough to do that when you play teams that you just whoop by 40. You get a win, but you're able to kind of get away with the things that, probably aren't good habits.
Exactly. Kind of find the chinks in the armor, I would say. That's kind of the way to view it. As Justice. Searching, trying to break off Johnson. Justice, a little confused as he was talking with the refs, overheard him. He was like, I went out of bounds. I don't think he even registered.
And that was tough, you know. It's not even like his foot was out of bounds. I think the very end of his heel was out of bounds. So good call by the ref. But
yes.
I see where Justice is coming from. Or you usually are pretty, court aware of where you are, and so to kind of be like, what, like really, But just got tough, got called by the edge of his heel there.
A little under 6 minutes left in this third quarter. As Ward. Geb's going to swap in for, looks like Lechuga. And as Lechuga will step out, and Gebs will step in as Justice dumps it underneath to Burton. Burton, a little bit of slippage as he tries to break away from Allshouse. Burton finds Martin. Martin finds Garcia. Garcia trying to shake off the defender as Burton. Don't know how Garcia kept that in. But Legacy will snag it. As Allshouse driving. And this game, once again, staying under that sort of 6-point margin of difference. It's now only a 2-point difference between the two, and Allshouse hoping to try and even that out as closely as possible. First shot doesn't fall. As this will be a 1-point difference now. As Garcia has possession and completely shakes off Harpring. Was a wide open, simple look. Couldn't capitalize, but Harpring able to bring it right back into Legacy's grasp. Justice takes the shot. Not quite as cool a fall as yours whenever you sunk it, but who's asking?
Legacy able to get the nice, easy ones to fall for them.
And you said kind of that's the key to controlling this game almost, is if your longer shots aren't going to fall, you really have to focus on the fundamentals. And I think that's a good way to look at it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like, and in any game, if something's not working, you got to find you've got to find something else. And a good player is going to do that. They're going to, as things are going to come, they're going to start to think through them, themselves. Okay, what can I do? Maybe they're going to ask coach, like, hey, coach, like, are you seeing something like this isn't working? Both coaches and players combined are thinking, okay, something's not working. They're going to try and change it up. I don't think anyone's like, oh, yeah, this isn't working. Let's just keep doing that, right? And so, in this instance, the threes aren't falling as much. I mean, we saw it pick up in the second quarter. Both teams able to sink some shots from the perimeter. But that being said, not as much as usual. And so both teams having to be able to capitalize on their finishes in the inside. And so far, Legacy has been able to do so more than Frederick in this third quarter.
Exactly. As see Clapp back in. Lots of these starters staying consistent. After the brief pause, Clapp now in control of it, getting double teamed. And that was Johnson. Gebs finds Clapp. Clapp almost was going to take the shot for the long ball. Able to break it down, break down the defense, and complete it. Lechuga subbing back in. Justice going to take a breather, as this will be Puttkamer who brings it back into Allshouse. Allshouse has definitely been one of those lethal threats to keep an eye out for, as Ward can't control the ball, pretty much gives it to Frederick. Lechuga dumps it back underneath to Clapp. Clapp isn't able to hold on, as Ward, who struggled the last drive.
We've seen aggressive defense from both teams this whole time, setting flash traps and just anything to try and get momentum to head their way. And so, Frederick, I think this game is going to come down to who can handle the best and who can convert on offense.
This will send Ward to the line. Ward. Looks like his dad in the audience. His dad, I mean, went absolutely ballistic on that last drive. Rightfully so. But always cool to see some of these parents who go, you know, out of their way to watch their kid play, and it's always cool to see.
I think it's fun, you know, being able to see them so happy for their kids. So many times, you know, you hear about parents that are just young at the reps or young at their kids or, you know, whatever. And I think it's so encouraging to see one that just can be so encouraging. You know, I so appreciate, you know, my parents that, you know, I get both.
Yes.
You know, that I want the feedback. I want to know what I can do better. And so after the game, my dad's really good about, you know, giving me that and analyzing what happened and, you know, helping me grow. But I also get the encouragement in a game. I think players need that. You know, they want their parents to be proud of them, and it's not helping anything, especially if they make a mistake. They already know they made the mistake. They don't need their parents yelling at them for it.
Exactly. Good, healthy balance of parenting. As Dunn tried to swipe it over the head. Ward, don't know how he grabbed that, getting double teamed by Burton and Martin. Dunn back over to the corner to Puttkamer. Puttkamer sinks it. Frederick now starting to fall behind. Just ever so slightly, this difference now sitting at 7. Probably the biggest deficit we've seen this game. Obviously not severe, but just enough to make you wonder how much more are they going to edge out in front. Hopefully Burton can shrink this, as we have about 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in this third quarter. Burton not able to capitalize the first time. Hoping he can shrink this to only a 6-point difference. And he will. It's exactly what Frederick needed. Keep it within 6 points. As Puttkamer, a little bit of trickery back over to Dunn. Dunn finds Johnson. Johnson back to Dunn. Dunn back to Johnson. Johnson stuck in the corner, getting double teamed. Gebbs able to snag the ball from his grasp. Gebbs to Martin. Martin able to finish it off.
Good pass there by Gebbs, just storming down the court, able to get the defenders to look at him, pose himself as a threat, and then give that dump down to Caden as he had that better angle.
Oh, so close, Dunn. The basket denied him. Lechuga finds Martin in the corner. Martin sinks it. Back-to-back points. So now this momentum quickly changing sides. Dunn in the corner. Ward. It's got to be handy with those long arms, right? You have more of a grasp. So if the ball kind of goes a little haywire like you saw there, you don't necessarily have to worry about it in Ward's case. He's got quite the span, the arm span.
That smart play by Burton.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're always, you know, obviously kicking the ball is illegal, but in that case, you know, Burton just kind of almost like did a little star, you know, and he kicked it, but I would say good play.
Yeah.
Because he stopped it, and, you know, he prevents them from being able to capitalize on offense. And I never, it took me a while to kind of learn that. They're just like, actually, while it might be legal, it works as an advantage to you. Because even if it's on and out of bounds and you kick it, end up going out of bounds, and say it happens again, it's just defeating to the offense to be like, I can't even get it in, and I do get it in, and then they kick it, and I'm trying again, and I'm trying again. It's just this thing of like, it's technically illegal, not allowed, but it actually can work a lot in your advantage.
Exactly. As I'm telling you, it's like this really large pendulum that's just swinging back and forth whenever it comes to this momentum. There's really no team that's sort of trumping over the other team. In no way correlated to our president, but this will send All's House to the line. About a minute left in this third quarter. All's House stretching this out. 5 points the difference now. As now 6, but Lechuga in possession. Lechuga to Justice. Justice. Looks like that's Lovins. Lechuga trying to drive. Lechuga going to bring this back in. Lovins back to Lechuga. Lechuga! What a way to retaliate.
Lechuga able to find just those inches of space and make Legacy pay for that.
I mean, it was mere inches, too. There was pretty much no difference. They probably could have touched nose to nose, essentially.
That just shows all the hard work that Lechuga's put in the gym and in practice. Not only can he hit threes, but he's comfortable hitting hitting threes with people right in his face.
Exactly. Lechuga back with it, trying to shake off Pukamer. Absolutely breaks his legs. My goodness. Back-to-back points for Lechuga as he's put up 5 in probably the past 30 minutes. As I have some not so happy people in the audience. As once again, All's House gonna bring this in. Coaches for Frederick even going ballistic. And that was OY looking for the call. What a close game this has stayed. I mean, it's kind of insane whenever you think about it.
One thing that Frederick has done really well this game is keeping their fouls to a minimum. They've been able to remain very physical, but there hasn't been a quarter yet. We're 3 in, 1 to go. There hasn't been a quarter where they've had 5 team fouls, putting Legacy in the bonus.
They've played a very clean game, which, you know, we've seen them have some of these messier moments where it's kind of been like, you know, you definitely don't want to send them to the bonus in a game this close. So they really just have to continue tidying up, as we're going to go down to the sideline now with Joey. Joey?
On the sideline, we're starting to hear a little bit of a contrast between the two teams and coaches. On the Legacy side, we're hearing encouraging words, like get the ball and stuff like that. And on Frederick, we're definitely starting to hear, like, come on, step up the game. We're also, in the rowdy crowd, starting to hear a little bit of disdain and challenge and not happy with a couple of the calls made by the refs. We'll see how this goes into our last period of the game. Back to you, Carly.
Thank you so much, Joey, as we are jumping right back into the action. Dunn trying to swipe it underneath to Puttkamer. And this will be Burton, who gives it to Lechuga. Lechuga. Back to Burton. Burton to Martin. Martin's ball almost gets snatched by Harpring. Finds Garcia in the corner. Garcia not alone, being closely watched by Dunn. Garcia dumps it back underneath to Lechuga. Lechuga trying to break more ankles as he goes over the head to Justice. Justice back to Burton. Burton almost had a wide open shot in the corner. Finds Garcia. Garcia finds Martin. Martin underneath. Martin's ball gets absolutely swatted by Harpring. As Allshouse now has possession, and Harpring able to capitalize for Legacy. Garcia. Garcia almost almost has the ball absolutely snatched from his Burton. Burton wide open in the corner. The whole bench went up for the three. It was a good look.
Good look and a good inside out. Katie, drew three defenders on him. Two other people are open. Frederick able to find Burton in the corner. Burton just unable to get it to fall.
Harpring. A little bit of a bank shot as Lechuga finds Martin. Martin back to Lechuga. Lechuga, he does what he does best. He's coming for your record.
JJ's record.
It's true. As Allshouse finds Dunn underneath. Dunn. It was a swift pass to Harpring, who gets it back underneath to Puttkamer. Frederick back in possession. Burton trying to shake off Ward.
Now, something I think is fun is that we've had 3 records broken, at least since I've been in high school.
My goodness.
And we've broadcasted every one of them.
That is really sick. I mean,
actually, 4 records. JJ broke 2 in a night. So 4
that
records.
Is true. I forgot about that. I was calling that.
You were not calling that.
No, I was calling.
Ian and I were calling
I was thinking of the one that we went on the road and called it, and I think it was Justice. I was trying to think. It was Justice who broke some record. And then you called the game where JJ broke that record or something like that. I don't know. We've called a lot of record-breaking games.
Luke broke the record.
Yes.
Then JJ broke the record, and then for threes, and then broke the record also for most points in a game. And then we've broadcasted Burke he has the record for, I believe, his most touchdowns in a season.
Which, I mean, that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Whenever you think about it, as Justice. Don't know who in the world gave him wings. Don't think it was Red Bull, but my goodness, what a lift on that kid. He heaved himself up there as Johnson finds Allspring. Allspring back with it. Ward tries to shake off Martin. Martin goes for the swat, and he goes up anyways. As looks like this will send Ward to the line.
Well, Martin's 3rd personal.
Man, this game is neck and neck. As the rowdy crowd using some interesting distraction techniques by just trying to catcall him with his name. I feel like that wouldn't be distracting as a player. I feel like I just find it kind of funny, right? You just kind of tune it out.
You have to let it do that. You know, just be able to kind of ignore it, and also just like, even if the things that they're actually saying aren't affecting you, you also can't overthink it and be like, oh, well, I'm going to make them think this, and then you're overthinking your shot. It's like, you just got to like just ignore everything.
I mean, hey, at least it wasn't nasty. It was just his first name, but
yeah.
We've definitely heard worse things from rowdy crowds.
My teammates going into mead, we're like, I'm turning all my accounts private.
I know. They'll find anything. They'll scrounge for any bit of information they can.
They will, and that just goes back to, like, you got to know they're going to do that. Like, that's the point of the rowdy crowd.
Yes, exactly.
You know, like,
they're there to
and so you
kind of tip you off a little bit.
You just got to ignore it. You know, even if they find some, like, you know, embarrassing
awful
picture
foul,
of you, and they're like, oh, is this you? Like, you just got to ignore it, you know?
Yeah, can't let it get to you, as you said. Got to keep a clear head. As Johnson will bring this to another 5-point difference. Man, these 5s and 6s. 4 minutes remaining in this game. Tightly knotted up. As FHS Booster Club, Frederick High School Booster Club carries on the long tradition of supporting the students of this community. The purpose of Booster Club is to provide the funding and manpower for the homecoming tailgate celebration, the after-prom party, grants to student groups and clubs, as well as scholarships to graduating seniors. We're always looking for parent volunteers, so if you're interested in becoming involved, we would invite you to reach out through our website, fhsbooster.com, and click on Contact Us, or attend our next meeting in the FHS library. If you're wanting to be more involved in the community and have a desire to do something that benefits the students of our community, we'd love to hear from you. Again, please visit our website, fhsbooster.com, and click on Contact Us if you'd like to get involved. We welcome any supporters, not just parents. The FHS Booster Club is a proud partner of GEBN. Personally, I think it's kind of cool to have the live band in here. You know, we don't typically have that every single game, so.
I think it's fun. It definitely adds a lot more to that, you know, the atmosphere.
Yes.
The only hard thing is it makes it incredibly hard to hear.
Yes, it does.
You know, we're
sitting up here pregame. I was like, my goodness, I can't hear a single thing.
Yeah, we constantly are, you know, like screaming at each other on the floor. And it's not that we're mad at each other. It's that we're just trying to tell, you know, what play we're running.
As Garcia finishes it off. Marcus Garcia. Ward, once again, has it, trying to shake off Garcia. Finds Allshouse behind him. Martin trying to get physical. Done. Don't think it touched the net. It's a pretty impressive little shot. Now 6 points the difference. And Ward's ball gets snatched. What a job by Burton. He saw the opportunity, grabbed it right from his arm, said, give me the ball.
Sneaky little play there, a little risky, but like I said earlier, high risk comes with a high reward. Burton saw his back was, you know, back was to him, and wasn't expecting him. And so just, you know, also with that, got the right angle to steal the ball, because if you come, you know, too far from behind, you're going to hit their body. It's a foul. And so that's the risk involved. You know, if it's a foul, you're going to get, you know, your coach going to get mad at you because you're like pretty much the farthest away from their basket as possible, and that's a dumb foul. But Burton was smart with how he came around, caught him by surprise, and able to get the finish.
As now the Imperial March plays. And what we've entered probably like the last 3.5 minutes, I'd say, of the game. Trailing still by 4. They've struggled to kind of, not necessarily to like stay in tempo with them. I think they've done that perfectly, like beat for beat. But they're definitely struggling to get that upper hand. Like I haven't seen them kind of stand out with anything that's sort of triumphs over Legacy, right?
I
It's
would
been
say
kinda
that
consistent.
second quarter, coming up in the second quarter, that came out the intense defense. They were able to get, layup 3, and they jumped out to about a 6-point lead. The hard thing is they weren't able to keep that lead. And that's
Well,
not
and that's hard momentum to
That's
kinda
not any hate towards Frederick necessarily, because Legacy's a good team.
Yes.
But Frederick's got to try and do something to be able to maintain that lead in those moments.
Exactly.
And now that they don't have it anymore, try and come back and get that lead again and then hold it.
All's house, sneaky little dump. He finds Ward over the top. Back to Johnson. Johnson back to Harpring right underneath as they extend their lead even further. As the foul will be on Harpring. And Lechuga will bring this back in. Martin sees the opportunity and takes it. My goodness. He made that look easy. Nothing but net. As Ward finds All's house, these two have been like top tier communication. Ward getting double teamed. Finds Johnson, who finds Harpring, who's back to Ward. Ward slips up. I'm telling you, I'm just loving watching his dad. Like, it's so much fun. Like, he is all in this game.
How awesome. Just how cool.
I know. It's just like a wholesome, like, you can't help but, like, just smile, right? Like, as Ward back to Johnson. Johnson finds All's house. All's house. Now Poot Kamer being closely guarded by Burton. Burton sort of been on top of them whenever it comes to defense. Ward. Garcia took a little tumble.
Garcia looked to take that charge since he didn't get it the last possession.
Yeah.
The refs will call it a block. Ref said he kind of stuck out his knee there. That's why he didn't have the charge. Not that he wasn't set or anything, just kind of stuck out that knee, and therefore is a block.
Good call by the refs. These have definitely been these have been some solid refs. I will give them that, right? Like, they've let them play just enough to where they're not calling every single thing, but they're also calling things that, probably shouldn't happen. As we've switched into volleyball, essentially, as Harpring bopped that thing up probably a good solid few times. That's not easy to do. You think about a basketball, it's not exactly a soft and squishy best friend, so. As All's house finds Johnson. Johnson back to All's house. And that ball will come soaring.
That will be Frederick's 5th foul, sending Legacy to the line.
And this is what you were warning about, too. This is what you were saying. This is what you cannot afford, is to send them to the line. And that's exactly what they did. As there's a minute and a half left in this game. And Harpring my goodness, this is exactly what Frederick cannot afford here late in this game.
That'll be Caden's 5th. So he will get a sub from, looks like it'll be Cole Davis there. Frederick's odds aren't in their favor right now.
No.
But they're going to be looking, I was just looking at their record as we speak, and of their last few losses, against Lutheran, Meade, and Broomfield specifically, and even Stanley Lake, they've lost in the last few minutes. You know, good losses, but really tough losses. And those are the ones you want to try to get to swing your way. And so we're going to see what they can do here in this last less than a minute and a half. As I said, not looking in their favor.
And with each time that they send them to the line, I mean, you're lessening your chances by that much more of a percentage.
Especially when Legacy so far has been shooting a very high percentage from the free throw line.
I mean, they really have. I don't think there's ever been a moment where I've been like, ugh. Ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, their shooting percentages.
We've talked about this before, you know, of the risk of fouling at the end of the game. And you usually look to foul their worst free throw shooter. Even if it's not on the team, even if it's just that game, you're going to foul them. But right now, Legacy, all their players that have been at the line are shooting well. And so there's not really a good person for Frederick to foul. So I'm curious to see what Coach Conway is going to have their boys come out and do.
I feel like the last minute and a half is always kind of a coach's like testament to like what can they do, right? I mean, it's not, obviously you shouldn't always pin it on the coaches. The players obviously are the ones that are down there. They're the ones playing. But I mean, the coaches sort of mentality kind of, I don't want to say leaks because that's kind of a gross word, but like it sort of like infuses into the players, right? Like you kind of feel how the coach is feeling. So it's very coach dependent.
And you can also see their kind of strategy for the game. Because the coaches are going to have, you know, in the last minute and a half, what they tell their players isn't going to be the same every game. It's really going to depend on how, you know, they read it and what they think.
Exactly, as Garcia pivots, finds Davis. Davis dumping it back over the top of the heads to Justice. Justice finds Lechuga. Lechuga picks it back up off the ground. Lechuga will bring this back into Davis. Davis finds Garcia. Garcia finds Davis in the corner. Davis and time is winding down. That's something to be cognizant of. Garcia fought to try and keep that in. 45 seconds left. Clock is stopped at the moment. Heaves it back to Ward. Ward to All's house. To Pootkamer, back to All's house. Would you say if they score here, that might be game?
Honestly, I would say right now is kind of game.
Right now is kind of game.
Legacy has, you know, 8-point lead. They just wasted about a good at least 10 seconds there. You know, maybe a little more. And now they're at the line again. I hate to say it, but
it's not looking too
hot.
It's
not looking bright.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because they were so evenly matched throughout this entire game, right? It was just a matter of...
And I mean, even with the score, they were still evenly matched.
Yes.
A 10-point lead, you know, when you look at it, you're like, oh, like 10 points. No, 10 points is nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost the same as a 2 or 3 point loss, I would argue.
Really?
While a 2 or 3 point loss is a one-possession ball game and it's like right on the wire, like 10 points can be really swayed in a lot of matters. You know, often in those in that last minute, you're sending people to the free throw line. And so that's what ends up racking up that lead. And so a 10-point lead is pretty incredibly close and just shows the talent of both teams here and the hard work of both.
Which honestly, I can kind of see that, right? Because it's one of those where, like, obviously, if you're losing by, like, I would argue anything above 10, right? Like that, it wasn't a super close game, right? I mean, maybe 11 or 12, you're still looking at a relatively close game between the two. But, like, if you're pushing, like, 20, like, obviously one team dominated over the other, right? And here tonight, it is a little disheartening to kind of see that they couldn't get out on top, right? We saw that big momentum swing, as you were mentioning, that second quarter where they came out strong. But that's a hard momentum and pattern to follow, right? Throughout that whole game, just keep driving hard. And that's a hard thing to keep consistent throughout the game, I feel like. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, of course. But it is a little disheartening.
It's still tough, but it's just one of those things that's like, as a player, and that's what you're gonna have to work to try and make it be consistent. It's not easy at all, but that's what you're gonna have to try and do in order to win these close games.
As your Golden Eagles will unfortunately lose by 11 against the Legacy Lightning. As we were talking about, and as you mentioned, I think part of that 11-point deficit was how many times they sent them to the line. I mean, towards the end of that fourth quarter, there was a lot of fouling, and they were already nearing the bonus, so it was one of those like, how often do you want to risk it, right?
Exactly. But, both teams have to be proud of, how hard they fought, and, while Frederick didn't come out their way, and it's going to sting this loss, but, you got to be proud of the work you did, and look for it to come back and build off of it for Friday.
Exactly. As we are going to go down to the sideline now with Joey once again. Let me hear it, Joey.
Thank you, Carly. What are your key takeaways from tonight's game?
I feel like we did a good job on defense guarding their big. They had a big dude, and we're missing our big. I feel like we did a good job on that, but I feel like we could have did a better job with like rebounds and stuff like that, transition defense.
Yeah. And what do you know you're going to apply for next game?
Probably starting fast. We've had a lot of games where we start slow and we start like hot from the jump. It'll probably be better for us in the end of the game like this.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Yep, appreciate it.
Thank you, Carly. Back to you.
Thank you, Joey, for that interview.
As tonight's broadcast has been brought to you by a talented crew of students here on GEBN, the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. I've been junior Carly Evans alongside senior Big Dog Zoe Wittler. Our director and the technical producer of GEBN is senior Chloe Gould. Our camera operators were Mason Shafronic and Micah Sagapolete. The third member of our on-air team down on the sideline was Joey. And Mr. Marsing is GEBN's advisor. Be sure to join us again for our next broadcast. I believe, when's our next basketball?
Friday versus
It's
Holy
Friday,
Family.
that's right. We're doing a lot of back-to-back this week. We also have our wrestling's on Thursday, so make sure to tune in for that. That'll be exciting, as I believe Ian and Sergio are going to be on that call. Always exciting to see wrestling take place. For everyone here on GEBN, I'm Carly Evans, and you've been watching the Golden Eagle Broadcast Network. Everybody drive safe. Have a good night.